Joining me on the line, he's going to be a part of the Iowa State Fair coming up here in a couple days. Ladies and gentlemen, Lawrence Gowan of Styx is on the line. Hey, Lawrence, how are you doing today?
I am very well and very much looking forward to Des Moines. Just great summer.
I went back through it. I was going back through some of the grandstand stuff. Styx has been a part of the fair a lot.
Not only have we been part of the fair a lot, but there was one year, and I know people are going to see this as maybe disingenuous, but it's the absolute truth. There was one year that we played that fair that it was. At the end of the year, we usually discuss, what shows stood out in our minds, So, a couple of years ago, we played at the London Palladium, in England, and it was sold out. So, everyone mentioned that one. And there was, a show that we played in Los Angeles. It was at the Greek Theater, and everyone mentioned that. But there was one year, and I'm going to say it might have been 2017 or 18 maybe, where we played the Des Moines, State Fair, the show that we're playing.
Yep.
It was absolutely in our top 5 of the year, if not number 1. And that's because it was just one of those astounding summer nights that just happened by, the planets aligned a certain way, and the crowd went on, and it was a sea of smiling faces and arms in the air, and there was just this magical atmosphere there that night. And as I say, people probably think I'm making this up, but it's absolutely true. And we're fingers crossed, that's going to happen again on the 18th.
Yeah, we'll have all the details about that show coming up on the 18th over at the website, kggo.com. But when did you guys start touring again after, the pandemic and all that?
Okay, so we timed the release of when I say we, it was the Universal Records, timed the release of our new album, I Crashed the Crown, with us, coinciding with us going back on tour. We played our first show on June 16th, and from there to now, we've played probably, we're at about 25, maybe 26 shows at this point, and we've been out for, since then. And we've done well. Audiences have done well. I mean, we've done more than well. I mean, the places have been jam-packed every single night. Most of the shows are outdoors, so, we have, there's less concern for the overall safety of everyone. And, but the audiences are, night after night, they're not unlike the Des Moines State Fair. They're ecstatically happy, and there's this feeling of a kind of overwhelming sense in the audience of great relief and joy and wanting to move ahead. And but mixed in with that is still a little bit of fear in the air as well. But we seem to be providing at least a musical balm on that for a day or two.
Lawrence Gowan joining me on the line from Styx, going to be a part of the Iowa State Fair coming up. I've found it interesting talking to musicians about that year or so off during the pandemic when nothing was going on. Did anything change for Styx during that time? Did anybody go back, look at the show? I've found some of those stories pretty interesting. Does Styx have one like that?
Yeah, we have plenty. I mean, the way that we kept ourselves active, we did these live stream things. Some of them were pretty serious ones. Like we did, when I say serious, I mean like we, went at them full bore.
Yeah.
Like we did Too Much Time in My Hands. We did that as remotely from everyone's home studios, and Boat on the River, and a few other, a couple of little, lighthearted things. We also did 7 complete streams of live shows that we did over the past 7 or 8 years.
Oh, wow.
We'd put them out on a Saturday night, so they were mixed, etc. For myself, I basically had to kind of every few weeks I would go back to a Styx show and play it through in its entirety, basically to try to keep myself in shape, to play the shows. And that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we had the new album that we were working on, so that really kept our focus on where the band would land if this ended. So by doing that, we finished the album. The record company were really pleased with it, and as I say, they coincided the release of it with us actually going back on the road, and it was time well spent because the end result was in that first week we were out, it went to number 1 on Billboard's rock album chart, and so we feel like that 16 months was well spent, and really it kind of refined the band to another level in a way, and kind of pushed us toward the future. And like everyone else on the planet, we began really appreciate our lives as they once were, and wanted to return to that as quickly and as effectively and safely and all of that as possible.
Well, I can imagine. It's just some of the bands I've talked to, and this isn't to be about other bands, but some went into this and the tour got cut off and they didn't have a plan or whatever. It sounded like you guys had something to focus on, something to work on, and something to do during that time. So it kept you guys sharp, more or less.
Styx are a very resilient band. And that's why they've lasted. It'll be 50 years old in this coming February, and we absolutely seem to. It's the personality within the band, or the spirit of the band, where we're able to do these quick little pivots and deal with things. Obviously, never anything quite like this, but we managed to not just get through it, but to kind of find some nuances in there that have helped the band even more.
By the way, that line, "Styx is a resilient band," may be the quote of the year. Lawrence Gowan on the line with me. So as we get closer to the show coming to the Iowa State Fair, what can fans expect? How is a show different now than it may have been, 2 years ago, and so on and so forth? How is it set up? What are we getting into?
Here's what I always have to assure people. You're never going to come to a Styx show and not hear Renegade and Grand Illusion and Blue Collar Man and Come Sail Away and Fooling Yourself. And, like those songs are in every single show. We really go deep into the classic rock era of the band, in the late 70s, early 80s. But two major differences. One is that, obviously with a new album, we're going to play the title track, Crash of the Crown. And that kind of seamlessly usually goes into Fooling Yourself or into Too Much Time in My Hands. And we have a new member of the band in that the last two albums, The Mission and Crash the Crown, were produced by a fellow named Willie Vankovich. And Will had worked with Tommy Shaw, starting back in around 2007 or 8. And he became such a part of the fabric of these last two albums that we asked him to join us on stage. So now he's part of the band. Hopefully Chuck Panazzo is going to make it out to the Iowa State Fair. We never know which shows he's going to show up at. But it's more than you think. But
yeah,
if we play 100 shows a year, the last time he was there for about 70 of them. So
okay.
About 70% of the shows he's able to show up for if his health is in good shape. And you're going to see a band that's even more joyous and kind of uplifting in the fact that we're the nuance of being out there and playing again hasn't worn off on us in the least. So it's a highly energetic show, probably surprisingly energetic for people that might be expecting an older band.
No, nobody thinks that. Lawrence, come on.
Good. That's good they don't think that. That's good they don't think that, because I want to take that right out of their heads.
There you go. Lawrence Gowan on the line with me. Something I'm always kind of interested in is the playlist that you guys come up with. How does that come around for you guys? Do you guys sit around and plan this out? Is it different every night? And here's the one that I always wonder about is, how do you pick the opener? Because my friends and I, we have this ongoing thing. We'll go to concerts and we'll put money on what song's going to be first, what we think is going to open.
That's a good bet. I hope you win that one. I'm going to give you some inside information right now where you can absolutely make sure your friend doesn't hear this interview.
Okay.
And you bet as much money on this as possible. First, I'll break the question down into two bits. The first part being, I've been in the band now 22 years, and in my first 5 years, I remember I would get deeply involved in the backstage discussion as to what we're playing, what we're not playing, what's going to be the opener, what's going to be the closer. Then I began to realize after about the 5-year mark that there's this is a JY phrase, there's such an embarrassment of riches when it comes to good choices of songs to play that I began to feel like, surprise me. Just put the set list in front of me as I'm walking, and I'm ready to go. And I'm kind of sticking by that. However, just in the interest of getting you some extra pocket money, we have been opening the show there's a short song, it's only a minute and 50 seconds long, that opens the new album, called Fight of Our Lives.
Okay.
And Fight of Our Lives, lyrically, it just fits exactly what the mindset is of people who have come to the shows and the mindset of the band. And that dovetails immediately into Blue Collar Man. So put your money on that. And I I think you should win. If that should happen to change, just delete my number from your phone. That's all you have.
I never talked to Lawrence Gowan about this ever. No, you'd actually laugh at the only band I ever got correct.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tell me who it was.
Nickelback.
Okay. Congratulations.
I said they're going to open with Something in Your Mouth, and that's what they opened with that night, and I won the bet. So it was one of the few times.
A great Canadian band, and way to go.
There you go. Well, Lawrence, we'll let you hit the road. Good luck with the tour coming up. We'll see you in Des Moines here on the 18th, and all the best to you guys. All right, man?
The Iowa State Fair. Yeah. The cotton candy is going to be on you after you win that bet.
Do you okay, let me ask you. Do you sorry, I know we were wrapping this up. Do you walk around any of these things?
I do. I really love summer fairs, and yes, I do. I do. And there's usually a guy who's very poorly disguised. And that'll be me.
Now, well, let me ask you, because the Iowa State Fair is known for all the food on a stick and all that. Do you go around and try any of this stuff? Is there something when you go to these fairs you have to, like, for me, it's when the Iowa State Fair comes around, it's corn dog and a lemonade. I have to get one of those at least once. Is there one for you?
Actually, it's roasted corn. Roasted corn on the cob. I just love that, especially getting towards this part of the season. That's maybe my favorite. In addition to that, things like, you have a different name for them in the States, but like, I think you call them elephant ears here, or, in Canada, they're called beaver tails. There's a great big hunk of fried dough with.
It's funnel cake.
What do you call them here?
Funnel cake. I believe
funnel
that's what.
Cake. There you go. Funnel cake.
Yeah, it's like the swirlies and all that.
That's it. Yeah, there's tons of fun in the funnel cakes.
There you go. One recommendation, if you get a chance, you can find it. Try the deep fried pie.
I will try that with all kinds of abandon. That sounds great, actually. Deep fried pie.
Pecan or
pie.
Yeah, it's pecan or cherry or something. But anyways, well, Lawrence, good luck to you. We'll let you hit the road. Thanks so much, man.
All right, B-sox. Nice talking to you.